So we'll be starting this build off with a piece of 1/8 by 1.5 AEB-L stainless steel. This will be a total stock removal knife. I've got a template here. We're going to get it marked out, scribed, so we can get it cut out. I really like AEB-L. It is one of my go-to stainless steels. I have tried pretty much every one out there, and when ATS-34 got scarce, this is the one I settled on. It's a tough steel and it really holds an edge. It's a very good all-around stainless cutlery steel. Now we got it cut out. I'm going to go over here and just rough profile it, and I'll fine tune it a little later. So keep in mind, this is bar stock that's already annealed and ready to go. You don't have to do any thermal cycling or anything like that if you're doing just stock removal. Now we'll start laying out to drill our holes. Right here I'm using a bolster template. This is to lay out my pin holes for the bolsters. Then I'll move on to the handle holes. The bolsters are going to be cut to a 45 degrees on the rear, giving it that dovetail look. So I got to make sure that my pin holes are in the right place so I don't encroach on that and the front decorative bevels. And we get it center punched, and I'll pick out some bits. I'll be using 3/32 pins and 1/8 pins for the bolsters. The bolster pins are going to be drilled at about 0.120. I'll come back and ream to 0.125. I want these holes to be a very tight fit. You'll see why later. Do a little chamfering and get the holes reamed. Then get our pinholes and thong holes drilled out. And because the steel is already annealed, you can pretty much use any off-the-shelf bits to do this drilling. Do a quick test fit of all the pins before I proceed to the next step. The steel comes from the mill, either cold rolled or hot rolled, so if it's not precision ground, you need to go ahead and clean it up because it's not going to be true flat and it's going to have some mill scale little defects in the steel. You want to get it flat and clean before you heat treat. So getting ready to do the heat treating, I'm going to be using stainless foil to encase the blade in. That way we won't get any oxygen in there and cause any scaling and that sort of thing. This will keep it clean just like it was before you put it in the oven. So you want to get it airtight, and so I'm crimping these with a hammer and creating a packet. I'll put a piece of paper in there to help burn off any residual oxygen. And now we get it into the oven, get it up to temperature, and do our soak. So this is an air hardening steel, so it'll come out of the oven, go in between two aluminum plates that cool it very rapidly. Then I'll use compressed air to finish off the cooling. And fresh out of tempering, it's time to grind the blade. If you notice, I didn't do any grinding before heat treating. We'll go ahead and get this edge marked. I'm just going to mark this edge with a pen, put a couple lines on it for our center, and go get it ground. So I'll work all the way up to 400 grit, and then we'll start our hand sanding. I'll be going for a satin finish for around 800 grit. This This is a piece of 1/4 inch by 1.5 inches, 4/16 stainless bar. This is what we're going to be making our bolsters from. I'm going to go get it cut and start making bolsters. I use 4/16 steel for all of my bolster and guard making. So I'm going to get these pieces flat. Everything needs to be flat when you're doing bolsters or pretty much anything in knife making. So what I'm going to do here is super glue these pieces together. That way I can profile them, drill them, do all of the work that I can before separate. This will ensure a lot of precision here. It works very well. All you'll need is a little heat to get them apart, and I'll show you that in a little bit. Okay, got the ends all squared up, so I'm gonna go ahead and start profiling, beveling, and cutting our 45s for our dovetail look. Just remember to keep them cool. I use a heavy grit belt to do the main work. That way it cuts faster and cooler. Then I'll move up in grits, run slower. And again, I'm barehanded here, so I can feel the temperature. That way these bolsters won't separate as long as I keep them cool, and I can feel how hot they are. Okay, with the profile done, I'm gonna go ahead and glue them to the knife and drill our pinholes. Same principle here, just you're going to keep it cool and take your time. Using a little cutting fluid and peck drilling and easing my way through these bolsters. And just a little test fit, good and tight. That's what we want. We want precision when it comes to bolsters. Just a small couple thousandths off. When you go to fit these on the knife permanently, you will see it. And with a little tap, pop them right off of there. If you notice, I hit in a place that will not be used when it's fit up to the knife. Now we'll get them marked up and start cutting our decorative bevels. I'll get them finished all the way up to my final finish before I separate them. Now we'll cut the decorative bevels. I'm going to finish them up to the final finish before I separate them. So I'm going to clean these bevels up to 600 grit. Now we put a little heat on them, get them separated, and move on to our rear bevels. So with them separated, I flip them over and I insert pins in them to hold them exactly where they need to be. That's why these pinholes need to be very tight, because you don't want to shift. I'll be using a 1/8 tapered reamer to ream from the outside end of these bolsters to create a tapered hole. This way when we press our pins in, which you'll see later, this will create a mechanical bond that will hold these bolsters on, and you cannot rip them off. And before I install the bolsters, I want to make sure I get my logo done and any final sanding. These are some scales that I asked Emily over at Emily's Casting Crafts to make for me. I'll leave a link in the description to her website if you'd like to have something made. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and cut the 45s on the scales to match the rear of the bolsters. So now it's time to install our bolsters. You want to make sure that your pins are sticking out about the thickness of your pin. So I've got a 1/8 pin. I'll have about 1/8 sticking out of each side. And this will allow us to do our press, and we will have plenty of material to work with. It's kind of awkward, but I clamp them up and get them ready to go to press. I've tried gluing them here, but if that glue pops loose, then when you go to press them on, you'll shift them and you'll have a problem with misalignment. So I clamp them and they do not move. This is a pin press that my father made for me over 30 years ago. We're going to get it in here and get them pressed on. Now I'm just going to clean up those pins and do a little profiling or contouring on these bolsters, and you'll see these pins vanish. Now I'm going to start fitting up the scales. I've already glued a black liner on them, and we're going to go ahead and get the holes drilled and get her ready to glue up. Just a little tap on the scales to make sure it's all the way into that bolster. We don't want any gaps there. And we'll get the holes drilled in these scales. I like to do this to all my full-tang knives with scales, is I drill little small holes all over the inside profile. This gives a place for epoxy to go and gives it additional holding power. Use a little sandpaper to rough the scales and the blade up and clean everything up with acetone and get some epoxy going. I absolutely love working with epoxy. Never. I use 30-minute epoxy. This gives me plenty of time to do what I need to do, and I don't have to worry about the epoxy getting hard before I get done. And we'll get it clamped up, and as soon as it's dry, we'll start our profiling. So I'll get the profile done and I'll start sculpting the handle. I'll be doing a Coke bottle shaped handle here, and I like to do most of the finish work with the belt sander. I do very little hand sanding. Of course, you're going to be running slow. This way you don't burn your handle material, get your pins too hot, and make a bullseye around each pin by getting it too hot. Run slow and work up in grits. Then we're going to do some buffing with some white rouge. And there's our final product. AEB-L stainless drop point skinner with Emily's Casting Crafts handle. I hope you enjoyed this video. I want to thank my patrons. If you got any questions or comments, please leave them below. And we're going to see you on the next one.